Let's talk about It. Welcome to Derry. The first two episodes dropped. I'm going to probably be watching it week to week, so just wanted to give my initial thoughts. Not going to get into any spoilers or anything. This is a prequel show developed for television by Andy and Barbara Muschietti and another one. It's going to be a direct prequel taking place in the 60s with Bill Skarsgård reprising his role as Pennywise, the dancing clown. I'm not sure if he'll be Pennywise in this specific series because I think Pennywise showed up originally in like the 1908 or something in the book. So like I don't know if he's Pennywise throughout time because, you know, if people talk about a clown throughout every 27 years, they might catch on. So I don't know if he takes that form in this show. He is in the poster, but basically episode 1, we're introduced to a character named Matty. He's a young boy who's got a shiner. He's trying to sneak into a movie. And he gets caught, so he runs away. He gets picked up by a family, but then he disappears. So that's kind of like the first disappearance in the first episode. But then we're sort of introduced to all the other characters. There's Major Hanlon. He's going to be one of the main characters. He's moving into town with his family. He's got a son and a wife that are coming later. And there's some weird stuff going on the air base where they might have found an alien or something, and ties into the origin of Pennywise. And then we're also following a group of young adults, not even young adults, teenagers, really, grade schoolers almost. I can't really tell, to be honest. But there's Loony Lily. She basically lost her father in a pickle factory accident, and she had to go to Juniper Hill. So a lot of kids bully her because she's got mental health issues. And then there's another girl, Margie. She's like a nerdy one that's part of the patty cakes sort of clique. It's like a group that Lily used to be part of, but they sort of ostracize her now and bully her. And then there's Teddy. He's like a Jewish boy, and another guy, a nerd. He's like his best friend. They talk about aliens over on the base. So that's going to be like our new losers club, sort of. And they all, I think Maddie makes contact with Lily, and then she contacts his friends. So they sort of form this group, and then they end up trying to find more clues. And they talk to a girl who works at the theater where she last saw Maddie, and then she gets basically roped up into it too. So it's the sort of 5 of them. There's a little sister of the one guy too. So they become the new losers club of sorts. And that's episode 1. Episode 2 is the aftermath of the scare at the end of episode 1. And so, you know, no one really they can't really go to the adults. And I love how Pennywise sort of goes after people based off their trauma still. So he goes after Lily because she's got mental health issues. If she, like, you know, makes too much of a fuss, you know, people are going to start looking at her strangely and might, you know, send her back to be committed again. And also after the black girl because her father, you know, the black racial tension. Same goes for the racial tension. Derry is also, remember, sort of warped from the rest of the world because there's like this general malaise of them not caring if children go missing, or, you know, children go missing 6 times the national average, like in the first movie that Ben does the research for. Also, there's the point of you have to kind of watch the first 2 movies. A lot of people think, since this is a prequel, you can just watch it first. But there's a lot of callbacks to the first 2 movies, and even stuff that's not even in the first 2 movies, like lore from the books. So you should really try to watch the first 2 Andy Muschietti films first, and then watch the prequel, because then you'll get more of the context and stuff like that. And episode 2 has more development in the military side with Major Hanlon doing stuff. And there's one big scare at the end. So it looks like there'll be one threat, an episode, basically, a scare. There's 2 in the second one. So it's a really creepy series to start. It's really good TV. Definitely excited to see where it goes next. It, Welcome to Derry is a prequel series of the It movies by Andy Muschietti. This series is produced by him. He only directs a couple of the episodes, but there's a lot of hype for this, and I have Crave right now for HBO stuff, so decided to watch it week by week, and for the last 2 episodes, decided to skip and do them both together. So I already viewed the first 3 episodes, but I'm just going to clip this in. But basically, episode 4 has a kind of a boring graveyard scene, and it becomes week to week. They add in a lot more subplots, such as stuff going on with Grogan and the military, and they sort of slow things down a little bit. They do try to have more outside other threats, and then they sort of lead up into that with 5 and 6, and they introduce some new aspects and characters, mainly a big one. But then episode 7 has like a big flashback showing the origin of the actual Pennywise, the dancing clown. Bill Skarsgård's kind of doing like a Hugo Weaving impression, and the last episode's okay too. It's full of action, a lot of just running around in the cold, and lots of deadlights. They definitely should have played up the horror a little bit more throughout the series, to be honest. Sometimes they'll have like a really good scene and they'll just, a lot of reliance on CGI, so it's not that scary, but you figure with a big budget show, they could have better practical effects for more scary stuff. I do like the characters. They're all pretty decent, especially like, you know, the main girl, Lily. She's played by newcomer Clara Stack. She's really good. And they definitely leave it open for another. They literally end the last episode with like, we should talk about the next season. And they definitely tease towards that. So overall, it's an enjoyable series. Definitely worth watching if you like the first 2 It movies. But it definitely starts off a lot scarier than it needs to be, which is great. But then it starts to lose itself into the drama in the middle. And then the last couple episodes aren't that terrifying, to be honest. I thought it started straight. I thought it started great, but then it started to lose steam throughout because it's hard to maintain a sense of terror for 8 episodes. It's quite a bit. So those are my thoughts on It, Welcome to Derry Season 1.